Alright, so I want to quickly just give a little disclaimer here before I start off this video and say that I've had roughly 3.5 hours of sleep. I went to bed at around 11 o'clock and I woke up at half 3 and Wolfenstein the new Colossus had finally finished installing. By the way, it's a big fucking install. It's like 49GB on Xbox One. So it takes quite a long fucking time to install. Not very happy about that. But yeah, after the game finished installing, I pretty much woke up on cue as it finished. And I just sat down and I played the game non-stop, and you know, I finally pulled myself away from my Xbox long enough to make an impressions video on the game. So yeah, this is going to be a first impressions kind of mini review on Wolfenstein 2. It's not a full review, it's a work in progress. My opinions will probably change by the end of the game. But yeah, I just want to say right now that I am very, very pleased with this game. I think it is definitely worth the money. I'm going to say that right at the start of the video because fuck it, honestly. This game is worth your money. £50 on day one is a good investment in this game. Now, I'm going to tell you what's on offer in terms of content in this game. From what I've heard, the campaign is around 10 to 12 hours long, depending on your playstyle. If you're run and gun, it might take about 12 hours. If you're playing it stealthy, it'll probably take a little bit longer than that. And I think that was around medium difficulty, so it probably will take a little bit longer if you're on higher difficulties, but that's to be expected with games like this. So yes, it's probably about the same length as the New Order, if not a little bit longer. There is no tacked on multiplayer mode. You buy the game, you get single player only, that is it. There is no online modes, so don't expect multiplayer and don't fucking complain about it, because Wolfenstein is single player only. It always has been and it always will be. I think there maybe was a Wolfenstein multiplayer at some point, but honestly, nobody was expecting it with this game, and you sure as shit ain't gonna get it, so don't be disappointed. Be happy that they didn't waste their time tacking on a multiplayer game mode, which would probably not be particularly good. If Doom 2016's multiplayer is anything to go by, it would have to be outsourced to a third-party studio, because Machine Games focused on the campaign like id Software focused on their campaign in Doom 2016, and they outsourced the multiplayer game mode to be developed by another third-party studio, so it's a good job we never got multiplayer. So without talking about stuff that's not in the game and moving on to the actual content that is on offer, I do apologise, I just knocked over my bottle of water there. But anyway, the content that is on offer in this game is exceptional. It is a vast improvement over Wolfenstein The New Order, and I honestly think that they have improved, even though there isn't very many risks being taken in this game. They've stuck to the tried and true, they know what they've done good in The New Order, and they've basically just improved upon that. There is no big new innovations. There is a couple of new game changes, but you know, there is no big game changing features that could make or break the game. In fact, they've only really done positive changes so far. Most of the changes in this game are very significant. Well, they're not pretty significant, they're just, you know, they're big enough that you're going to notice them over the New Order, but they're not big enough that they're going to exactly blow you away. This is literally just the New Order Part 2, which isn't a bad thing when the New Order was as good as it was. One of the things I want to say right now, that combat feels a lot better than it did in the New Order, and combat felt exceptional in the New Order. The combat in this game is very nice, is very satisfying, the guns feel super punchy, melee combat is absolutely perfect as well, it is on point. The hatchet that you get to use in this game is your melee weapon. That's so far through the start of the game. I don't know if you get like a new melee weapon midway through the game or anything, but the hatchet that you get to use is extremely satisfying. The takedowns are brutal, as you'd expect. There is nothing more satisfying than sneaking up behind a Nazi and plunging the hatchet right into the base of his skull. It is extremely satisfying, and the player feedback is exceptional as well. You definitely know when you've hit something without the game even needing hit markers. That's another thing. The game doesn't have hit markers, but you know when you've hit something, especially an enemy target. So you know, that's something I'm very happy about, because a lot of games need to put hit markers in just to show you're hitting shit. Because obviously a lot of games like Call of Duty, if they didn't have hit markers, you don't know if you're hitting anything. But the hit registration in this game feels good, it's meaty and you can feel it, and that's something that I'm very happy about. The cinematics in the game are much improved, as the visual quality is also improved over the New Order. The New Order is one of the few truly next-gen looking shooters that I've actually played within the last few years. And the new Colossus goes above that. It looks exceptional on PC and it looks great on console as well. there is this level of motion blur, I think, within the game. You can tell when you're running around fast-paced, shooting down enemies with like fully automatic weapons. You can tell that there is like a level of motion blur and whatnot to it, but it's very stylistic and it looks very nice. It's something I'm very pleased with. And compared to a lot of other games where motion blur feels a little bit over the top, the blur in this game feels great. You know, it doesn't feel bad or anything like that. It is pretty nice. The gunplay, as I said, is extremely satisfying, and honestly, I think this could be my shooter game of the year. And this doesn't have a multiplayer game mode on offer, so this is just a campaign only game. And I'm willing to say that this has been my game of the year so far. Does it live up to the hype of Doom 2016? Absolutely. This game feels like New Order meets Doom 2016 in the best way possible. Because New Order was very cinematic heavy, you know, it had a very heavy reliance on storytelling through narration and exposition and stuff like that. And then you got Doom 2016 last year, which was very bare bones in terms of story. You got a story, but you didn't get much of a story. Because gameplay is the main focus of Doom, and cinematic heavy storytelling was pretty much the focus of Wolfenstein, especially with the New Order, and they've improved on that in this game so far. The cinematics so far have been absolutely stunning, and the dialogue is much improved as well. Especially when it comes to characters such as Frau Engel, Set Roth, and all the other little side characters in the game. They're very cool. And you get some of the other characters that come back as well, like Max Haas and Max Hoss, or whatever his name is. You know, guys like that, they come back, and it's pretty fucking cool. So yeah, as I said, it's just a mini review. I'm not going to drag this video out any longer than it has to be. But so far the game is very good. A few complaints I maybe have so far is the game seems to be quite challenging. Which isn't a bad thing. I like a challenge, so I fully welcome the challenge with this game. I know a lot of people aren't going to be particularly keen on how hard it can be at times, so maybe play on a little bit lower difficulty if that's what you're into. Personally, I'm playing it on medium difficulty, and you know, there is sections of the game where it feels pretty easy, but there is also sections of the game where it feels pretty hard. I'm going to put in a little montage here of multiple deaths I took in this one mission, which I took a shit ton of deaths just on this one situation. I couldn't get through it for some reason, and I died so many times getting through it. So it's one of those games where, you know, it's hard on you at times, but it's a great game to play, and it is a good challenge if you're into that sort of thing. So yeah, Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, I heavily recommend checking this game out. It is very nice, it is very satisfying to play, and it's really fun as well. That's another thing. A lot of shooter games have felt very by the numbers recently, where they don't feel fun. They just, you know, you feel like you're playing just to get to the end of the game, to feel like you haven't wasted your money. But this is a game that I am enjoying my time thoroughly playing, as I did with the New Order. I don't feel like I'm wasting time getting to the end and thinking, Jesus Christ, when is this game going to end? I feel like this game is extremely fun, and I really am enjoying my time playing it. That is one of the things I have thought so much when I've been playing this game. And another thing I've been feeling as well is a little bit of regret that Visceral Games got shut down by EA quite recently, because this game shows me nothing else except from single player games are not going anywhere. There will always be a requirement, and there will always be a demand for single player action games. They are not going anywhere, and I think they deserve to stick around for a lot longer. You know, like with Visceral Games being shut down and their Star Wars project being turned into a multiplayer game by EA, that annoyed me. And I am so happy to see that Bethesda are fully supporting their single-player developers, because Bethesda are one of the best publishers when it comes to single-player games. You know, you've got the Elder Scrolls, you've got Fallout, you've got Prey, Doom, Wolfenstein. You know, Bethesda are a powerhouse when it comes to single-player games, and I am so glad that they're supporting their developers the way they are. I am so happy with this game. It is a vast improvement over the New Order, and I highly recommend that you check it out. I will check back pretty soon with a full review once I've completed the game. So far, I'm probably 4 or 5 hours through it. I'm nowhere near close to being finished yet. I'm not even in New Orleans yet or anything. I'm just in New York right now. So if you've played through the game, you know how far I am through it. So I'm probably not that far. and I am really enjoying it so far. So next video you see from me will be checking back when I have a full review for the game. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Leave your opinions down in the comments below. What do you think of Wolfenstein? Do you think it's a great game? I honestly think you all should check it out. And honestly, on top of that, if you haven't played the New Order either, I highly recommend that you play through the New Order first, because the New Order is an exceptional shooter game. It has a very satisfying single player campaign, and obviously this is part 2 of that. So, you know, if you enjoyed the New Order, you're gonna love this game, and if you enjoyed Doom, you're gonna love this game as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.